President Biden wants a default. Joining me now, Deputy Treasury Secretary Wally Adeyemo. Mr. Secretary, thank you very much. Well, let me ask you about that. The talks are about to take place tomorrow. The staff are meeting today. And the Speaker of the House says the president wants a default.
Andrea, thanks for having me. And we've heard the president on several occasions, even yesterday, talk about the need for Congress to raise the debt limit because the alternative is catastrophe. Not just catastrophe for our financial markets and for the global economy, but catastrophe for our seniors. Seniors who would get Social Security, who would not get paid. For our troops who would not get paid if we defaulted on the debt. That's why the president has called on the Speaker and Congress to raise the debt limit, something that's happened 78 times since 1960 and 3 times in the last administration without negotiations.
I want to get your reaction to former President Trump saying that the U.S. should default. This is what he said on CNN last night.
I say to the Republicans out there, congressmen, senators, if they don't give you massive cuts, you're going to have to do a default. And it could be very bad. It could be maybe nothing. Maybe you have a bad week or a bad day.
Should point out that that's not what he said when he was president and got Congress to go along with a lot of Democratic support 3 times to avoid a default and just raise the debt ceiling. In any case, what could be the impact, though, given his leadership of the Republican Party, of him urging a hard line?
So, Andrea, I think the most important point is the one that you made, that 3 times in the last administration without negotiations, Congress raised the debt limit to prevent default. And they've done it 78 times since 1960, with Democrats and Republicans agreeing that paying our bills is something the United States must do and something that we have done for the last 200 years. So my expectation and what I've heard from Democrats and Republicans is that it is unacceptable to default on our bills to our seniors, unacceptable to default on our bills to our troops, unacceptable to default on our bills to all Americans, and that's why we expect people to raise the debt limit as soon as possible.
Mr. Trump said it would be a bad week or a bad day. Give us a scale of what it would be like, because this is something that's never before happened in history.
So, Andrea, it's important to note that the United States has never defaulted on its bills. And the U.S. economy, U.S. treasuries are at the center of the global economy. If we were to default on our debts, it would be a catastrophe, not just for financial markets, but for the Americans who come to rely on payments from their government. You think about seniors who have worked their entire lives and paid into Social Security. A default would mean that we would be unable to pay them the money that they have earned. Think about our troops who are serving our country bravely. A default would mean we'd be unable to pay them. So in addition to the catastrophe it would be for the global economy and for the 401ks of Americans, it would be an individual catastrophe for millions of Americans if the United States didn't do what it's done 78 times since the 1960s, which is raise the debt limit and ensure we don't default on the commitments we've made to Americans and people around the world.
To those who've seen us go through government shutdowns before, which is a completely different process, I know, because we're talking about defaulting on the faith and credit of the dollar, of the U.S. government. But, okay, can you get a bridge loan? Can you borrow some money, pay the military, make choices, pay Social Security, cut someplace else? Is that what goes on? You just move the pieces around until you get a solution?
So, Andrea, there is no way to stop the catastrophe that would be default if Congress doesn't raise the debt limit. All of the alternatives that people have come up with are alternatives that would mean that for the first time in the history of the United States, we didn't meet all of our commitments on time. It would be devastating for our economy. It would be an opportunity to present to China and to Russia that the United States does not stand up to its commitments. It would mean that for the first time in our history, instead of the United States paying our bills, we've decided not to pay the people that we owe. Andrea, you know this well. Our economy is growing today. We created more than 200,000 jobs last month. Inflation's coming down. What private sector analysts have said is that if we defaulted on our debt, we would lose millions of jobs. The economy would go into a recession that would be likely more significant than what we faced after Lehman collapsed. That's why we expect Congress to, on a bipartisan basis, avoid default and make sure that we raise the debt limit.